I just learned how to fight. I mean, I would say within a year, I learned how to fight. In fact, the only fight that I've ever been in before that, besides family fights, right? They go back and forth, is I remember getting in a fist fight at a bus stop with my neighbor because he called my black friend a word that you should never use. And that was the last fist fight that I was in. I think I was in third grade. I don't know, something so crazy. And my whole life, including when I'm young, is, stop the fight. Stop the fight. I don't want people sad. I don't want people that I love upset. So, what I did my whole life, and I don't think that this really was demonstrated to me because I think that a lot of the women in my life actually have a very healthy relationship with anger. But for whatever reason, and again, not really modeled, I decided that it was my job to swallow the grenade. Now, I didn't know I was doing this. If you ask me, I'd be like, I don't know that I've ever been angry. I've never been angry. I don't get mad. I don't get angry. I might get pissed, annoyed, but I don't get angry. I was fucking furious for years. Welcome to Body of Truth. I'm Rebecca Windsor. Body of Truth was born after years of suppressing my emotions, my inner voice, my intuition. My 25-year marriage ended with a phone call shortly after my son went to college, and I was left to rebuild my life from nothing. And so, in that time, and being all by myself and having the luxury of the time to be all by myself, I got quiet and listened to my inner voice. I also got quiet on what I really wanted and what I really didn't want. And most importantly, what I discovered along the way, trying all different techniques, is how to bring these changes up and through my physical body, literally shifting energy, but also making these changes so physically familiar with me out of habit, just like a million free throws and then you're good at it. I did this practice so often that my new reality became what I wanted, not what I was, by simple physical drills. And so those changes stuck and became my new life. So, what I hope to provide here for you is I always give you the tips and tricks that worked for me. And I hope that this gives you either a place to start that inner inquiry or at least start to listen to your intuition because it's very wise. So, if you had asked me about anger, I'd say I'm just not an angry person. I just don't get mad. So here's what anger did for me. By swallowing these evil black bricks of poison, I gave myself cancer. And I've mentioned that in other videos before. I compressed every instinct of anger that ever would flare up in me and just pack it down and pack it down and absolutely caused that to occur. So I really appreciate women that wield their rage with a fucking flamethrower. And women that I'm very, very close and intimate with rage first. And I love that fire and burn. Now, at times they shoot first and ask questions later, right? There are people that get really hurt by their initial onslaught of anger, and then they need to dial back and kind of find out where that came from and is it even being directed at the right person. But having access to that anger, I was so jealous of. It took me a long time to be like, I'm fucking pissed. I'm angry and it feels really good to be angry, even if I'm in the wrong. Just allowing myself to be mad. And really it was a mentor that used that phrase, swallowing the grenade, because again, we are asked to do these exercises where we dig into our angry side and release that rage. And I'm like, I think I just don't have it. And then I came across that phrase and I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm fucking furious. But instead of screaming and yelling and shooting everyone with a machine gun, I point the gun at my own head. I swallow all that shit and pack it inside, which really honestly is worse because even though you need to be careful with your words, they can be very wounding. Of course they can. The damage that you do to yourself by not allowing I had anger stitched up so tight. No wonder I got sick. It was compressed into like these black pellets of death that literally turned into a black pellet of death that I had to get cut out of me. So, Healthy expression of anger, imperative. Imperative for women because there's this thing where like she's being a bitch, she's being emotional, she's being crazy, right? When a man would just be like, oh, he's in a rage, he's expressing his anger, like it's such a fucking crap. So a healthy burning anger and access to your fire is so healthy, and I admonish you to try that, bringing more of that honest reaction into your life. Now try to check yourself about where you're like throwing that flame, but I mean, honestly, I just feel like the expression of anger is like, women aren't supposed to be angry, and fuck that. Because the beauty of being a woman is that we are a beautiful vessel of polarity. We are strong and we are soft. We can hold a fucking sword while being a vessel. That is amazing. So when it is time to rage and when it is time to bring the fire, don't hold back. You bring it. And when it is time to be soft and when it is time to allow every part of that beautiful femininity out, do that too. Because it's all in there and it is all beautiful. And that is what I leave you with today. Hope you found this helpful. If you did, please subscribe, share it with someone that you think would benefit. You can click the link below for my weekly content where I am even more explicit than I am here. And I upload every day, and I will see you tomorrow.